Friends, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the swirling vortex of criminal justice reform, a topic so complex, so multifaceted, it's practically a legal black hole. And trust me, some of the cases we'll be discussing are so bizarre, you'll question the very fabric of reality. We'll explore the past, present, and dare I say it, the potentially hilarious future of this ever-evolving landscape. Get ready for a wild ride. First, let's rewind. The history of criminal justice in this country is, shall we say, a mixed bag. From the blatantly unjust practices of the past, think Jim Crow-era laws, the disproportionate incarceration of minority groups, the sheer brutality of some policing tactics, to the slow, often painfully slow, progress towards a more equitable system. It's a story filled with both triumphs and abject failures. We've seen the pendulum swing wildly, from draconian, tough-on-crime policies that swelled prison populations to the more recent push for rehabilitation and restorative justice. And let's be honest, some of the arguments made during those shifts were, well, let's just say they'd make a great stand-up routine. I wonder what planet the judge was on when they decided, never mind. We'll get to some of those gems later. One of the most significant shifts in recent decades has been the focus on mass incarceration. For years, the prevailing wisdom was that locking people up was the solution to everything. More prisons, harsher sentences, longer terms, it was a recipe for disaster, and the results speak for themselves. Overcrowded prisons, skyrocketing costs, and a revolving door of recidivism painted a grim picture. The sheer number of nonviolent offenders languishing in the system was, and still is, staggering. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the simplest solution isn't always the best solution. In fact, it's often the worst. Then came the rise of data-driven approaches. Suddenly, we started seeing the numbers, the hard evidence of what our policies were actually doing. Studies showing the ineffectiveness of lengthy sentences for nonviolent crimes, the disproportionate impact on certain communities, the astronomical cost of maintaining the prison industrial complex. The data was undeniable, and it started to shift the conversation. Suddenly, the focus wasn't just on punishment, but on prevention, rehabilitation, and addressing the systemic inequalities that contribute to crime in the first place. It's a long road, but it's a road worth traveling. Now, let's talk about some of the specific reforms that are gaining traction. Sentencing reform is a big one. We're seeing a push for shorter sentences, especially for nonviolent offenses. There's a growing recognition that lengthy prison sentences don't always lead to rehabilitation, and in many cases, they can actually make things worse. Think about it. Someone spends years in prison, loses their job, their family, their social network. What are their chances of successfully reintegrating into society once they're released? Slim to none in many cases. It's a vicious cycle. Then there's the issue of bail reform. The current system often disproportionately affects low-income individuals who can't afford to post bail, even for minor offenses. They sit in jail awaiting trial, often losing their jobs, their homes, and their families in the process, all before they've even been convicted of a crime. It's a system that punishes poverty, not crime, and that's simply unacceptable. Some reforms aim to replace cash bail with risk assessment tools, which could lead to a more equitable system, but it's a complex issue with many challenges. Another crucial area is police reform. This is perhaps the most contentious aspect of the broader conversation, and it's where things get really interesting, and sometimes hilariously absurd. From controversial use of force policies to the lack of accountability for misconduct, police reform is a complex and multifaceted challenge. We've seen a surge in calls for increased transparency, better training, and more robust mechanisms for holding officers accountable for their actions. The goal is not to defund the police, as some misinterpret, but to reform and reimagine the role of law enforcement in our communities. And let's not forget about restorative justice. This approach focuses on repairing the harm caused by crime, involving victims, offenders, and the community in the process. It's a radically different approach from the traditional punitive model, emphasizing reconciliation and rehabilitation rather than retribution. While still relatively new, restorative justice programs have shown promising results in reducing recidivism and fostering a sense of community healing. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes a little empathy goes a long way. But the future of criminal justice reform isn't just about specific policies. It's about a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about recognizing that the criminal justice system is not just about punishment, but about creating a safer, more just, and more equitable society for everyone. It's about addressing the root causes of crime, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunity. It's about investing in prevention and rehabilitation, rather than simply reacting to crime after it happens. Now let's talk about the challenges. Implementing meaningful reform is a Herculean task. There's resistance from various stakeholders, including law enforcement agencies, politicians, and even some segments of the public. There are also significant logistical hurdles, such as funding, staffing, and the need for comprehensive data collection and analysis. And let's not forget the sheer complexity of the issue itself. Criminal justice is a vast and intricate system with many interconnected parts. Reforming it requires a multifaceted approach that addresses all these components simultaneously. And the legal battles surrounding these reforms are often, well, let's just say they're entertaining. When you hear this lawyer's defense, you'll spit out your coffee. The sheer number of lawsuits, appeals, and legislative battles is mind-boggling. It's a constant back and forth, a tug-of-war between those who want to maintain the status quo and those who are pushing for change. And the outcomes are often unpredictable, sometimes downright baffling. Despite the challenges, there's reason for optimism. Public awareness of the need for reform is growing. More and more people are recognizing the flaws in the current system and demanding change. We're seeing a surge in innovative approaches to crime prevention and rehabilitation, and there's a growing body of evidence demonstrating their effectiveness. The future of criminal justice reform is not predetermined. It's being shaped by the ongoing struggle between those who cling to outdated ideas and those who are fighting for a more just and equitable future. The road ahead is long and winding, filled with unexpected twists and turns. There will be setbacks and disappointments, but also moments of progress and triumph. It's a journey that requires courage, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to justice, and perhaps a good sense of humor to get through the absurdities along the way. Because in the world of criminal justice reform, reality truly is stranger than fiction. And that, my friends, is a story worth telling.